Hey everyone, this is Snark with Snark's Domain, but I guess you guys probably knew that part, otherwise you might not be here, I don't know. It's been a busy day, what can I say, between the Christmas holidays and we celebrate Christmas, and playing with some thermal putties today and some testing. It was a good day. I'm pretty excited to see, well, I mean, I'm mostly cracking this open because that's what I always do. I'm mostly interested in seeing the numbers. I think you guys are too, but this is an important part of the process, so gotta make sure. Excuse me. Everything looks good. I've had this cough for like way too long. Way too long. If you guys haven't checked out his channel yet, you should go over to the Thermal channel, and he's doing some really cool stuff. Testing tons of pastes and putty jobs, doing pretty cool cycle testing, like automated cycle testing, like aiming for like 10,000 cycles and stuff. Now you've got what, uninterruptible power supplies, because you had a couple You had the one get to, what was it, 8,000 or 9,000 cycles or something like that. And then there was like a, I don't know, power outage or something, but pretty neat that we got people looking into that type of testing and like streaming it live. Like you can actually just go while it's testing and like tune it every once in a while, you know, see how a paste is holding up, and then like check it out yourself, what, 10, 12 hours later or the next day. And that's pretty neat. Live testing for cycles. That's awesome. Okay, so okay, interesting. I guess I wasn't expecting this one to have like the what I refer to as the jaws of Putty. But I want to zoom in. We'll look at the core contact too. Before we do much though, I just want to adjust this a little bit here, just so, yeah, we don't knock it into the radiator fins. Let's get a closer look. Okay, so decent core contact. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad to me. It looks fairly equal. Let's see if I can get a better, is that easier to see? If anything, just slightly heavy on the right side, but not much. Pretty good. Where was I wanting to go with this? Okay, this is what I want to talk about. So putties, this is a good thing. Putties are supposed to have a bit of stickiness to them, right? And as I pull the card apart, you can see it's really like it's sucked itself in narrow there and here. But you can clearly see on the VRAM that we definitely had full coverage. So that's good. So if you, with the best putties, if you overcompress, well, actually most putties, if you overcompress it a little bit, it should still, like as it springs back, it should still fill that space. It's gonna like suck itself back in. So that's a good thing to see. Now, I just wasn't expecting to see this one be this soft to do this. It's not that it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just with Putty Advance, we saw it stay together in one piece. I suppose there's not actually that much on the VRAM. It's a pretty, just a little bit. It's neither a good thing or a bad thing, it's just a thing. But it's just something I noticed. Some putties kind of mostly stay on one side or the other, and other ones are super sticky, like we saw with Putty Basic, or well, the stickiest one, the hardest one to clean for me was probably T Global A7000, I believe. But what am I doing here? Am I going to take this stuff off? We could, or I could just leave it and we get to the numbers. Maybe we'll do that. I'll put the card back together here after we take, I don't know, I'll look at it, but it looks pretty good. I think let's get to the numbers. You guys are, I think, waiting for that. And I don't have anything planned to put onto here right now, so it's better if we just put the card together, and then I can deal with this after the Christmas holidays. We'll salvage the putty and put it back in the container and test it again on test bench 3 at some point here. I just need to get a fancy thermometer that happens to be accurate to 0.05 Celsius so I can calibrate my ambient temperature sensors at the intake of the case for test bench 3, and then we are going to go hard after testing all the phase changes. I'm going to be doing some long cycles, but I don't think that's going to hinder the speed of testing. And it's going to be nice for me just to like do one and let it run for quite a number of hours. And then, yeah, I could do maybe 1 or 2 a day. We'll see. I think it'll be good. Let's catch up on the chat here. You are 64 hours and 1,140 cycles in. Nice. You need to iterate the code and have it just email me at 10%. That's a good idea. Automated screenshots. Yeah, I think that card will be. It's living its best life now. Okay, let's get these things up here for Mark. Okay. What's that? That's the calculator sheet. ETC hash. Alright. Here we go. So. Let me put it here. I think I'm looking forward to getting away to the mountains for a few days. My family has been quite understanding with me doing this testing in streams. I missed tobogganing today, but we're going to do some of that once we get there too, so it'll be good. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, my mic is working. I was worried for a second there. I remember the other day when it was magically not working for some reason for a few minutes. I think every time Windows finds a way of forcing an update, it messes up some of my settings, and like I've got Process Lasso running, which is supposed to. Well, I've got it sort of tuned to give more processing power to the like OBS and the Shure mic. Also, the Shure software might be causing problems. They're going through a change, and I'm still on old software. But last time I tried to update, it wouldn't work, so I haven't been able to move over to the new software. Actually, I don't even know if I need to run the software or if I can just rely on OBS, the filters added in there, so I'll have to look into that. I'm willing to bet it'll be just cleaner and easier if I don't run the Shure Plus software at all. Okay, so we are going to pick one of these, doesn't really matter which one. See, I think I've actually had Excel open, so I feel like Control F, it's going to probably still be there, and it is, so I don't even need to paste it. That's fine. Replace all. About this sheet, if you guys aren't familiar, I recently added this several months ago after that LTB81 incident with the fans. So now this checks specifically hour number 2, because that's the hour that we use for the data. And then this one checks the voltage rails. It looks for the minimum across all 3. And then, yeah, that way I can catch if there's anything wrong. And these are, I think I have these automatically color-coded to do conditional formatting in case they're off with fairly tight tolerances. So it's pretty much always average 2592. It has been consistent. So let's do this. Place all. And as we go up in wattage, the 12 volt rails go a little bit lower typically, but these ones are not. They're fine. They're safe at this level. But I'm getting close to needing to change the connector out on the card. It's just seen way too many cycles Taylor, I'm probably gonna use your recommendation to, well, I think it was like those XT90 connectors. I'm probably gonna go that route for test bench 3. Just to give it more longevity. And, well, interesting, we had a little drop there. I'm glad that it didn't happen this hour. Would have had to adjust and find 60 minutes of data. Okay, let's do this. We've got, already put that stuff in there. It's the 22nd. You guys can also see that retest that we talked about before I did Putty Advance. A second application, added more Putty. Really similar results. 0.3 cooler on the ETC hash and the Fermark tests. Which, yeah, I mean, I'll probably give it the benefit of the doubt and use these updated values. It really doesn't change much. It's only 0.3 degrees Celsius, but I might even test it a third time. I don't know. But I did, for this one, I did 10 hours, and even spanning across 10 hours, the average was still that 53.6. So, okay. This is going to be interesting. Let's get the results in, and then I'll be able to look at the chat, I'm sure, and catch up with you guys. My one pet peeve with Fermark is the inconsistent wattage, and I do not know what I'm doing, if I'm doing something wrong or if I can do something better. Because right now that's at 100% power limit, but it's not even using 100%, right? The Kapow maxes the card out. I wonder if I should, like, maybe for test bench 3, I need to look into this and see how it's going to work, but maybe I give it a power limit of like 95%, and then it will just stay at that 95% and be consistent, because consistency is more important than maxing it out. We can always use Kapow and set inefficient mining overclocks to max the card out. That's the plan for that one. And there's the benefit of a mining load is there's no graphical output load to a monitor, other than the chart. Like Fermark, it's got quite a lot going on with the fuzzy, furry donut, basically. So I think there's maybe something there that I could do. Thermal Grizzly. Just gonna grab this description. This is, I'll do this and then I'll catch up on chat. We got to see the numbers. Then we'll have a nice little discussion about it. I think that's the right size. 28. Oh, I kind of wanted that too. Aerial 28. Oh, this is going to be Calibri, I bet. Yeah, I do not like Calibri. Get back to aerial, you. Okay, that one's aerial. That's good. Oh, the sizing on that one's different too. That's supposed to be, I think. That's interesting. Or are these? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay, that's not important right now. ETC hash. This is the one that I usually rely on, so 50.3. Interesting. 910. 3.3. Oh, sorry, I actually should check. This is not really that important. 50.27, 50.34. So negligible. I will put it below. Again, my testing is not accurate to 2 decimal points. Let's be real. But we'll let the numbers place it. And did I just do the right thing there? No, I didn't. Undo. Oof. Sorry, guys. Insert copied. That's more like it. Okay, but could EVGA have been no, because layered T Putty 910 is pink. So it can't be I don't think it would be the same. I mean, I've always been trying to find who made the EVGA putty. And it's possible that it was EVGA, but I don't really think so. I think they would have just bought putty. But maybe. 48.7. 48.7. 2P8. So we got 48.68. 48.70. I mean, that's kind of silly. But let's see here. So if you guys aren't familiar with Kapow, it is memory and core intensive. It's partially why I don't, or wait, sorry, this is Furmark. Furmark is also core and memory intensive. But Kapow is also that. That's why I mostly rely on the ETC hash tests, because they're really just memory intensive and they really don't do much on the core. Yes, the core is kind of sitting there burning some power, but it's really not stressing it that much. 59.7, 59.7, 59.67, 59.7. I definitely need to separate the charts. We're going to take out the pads. They're going to have their own chart, and the putties will be on the putties, and then I'll do exotic stuff like shims, including those 3D graphite pads, because I consider that to be an exotic solution, because it does have that very slight risk of electrical stuff, right, if you damage the pads. 59.7, sorry. It's important that they're not treated like normal pads, because there's just a slight extra caution involved, I think. Maybe I'll include them on the pads still, but then I'll also include them on the shims, because most of those are electrically conductive. Okay, so what do we got here? This is the Kapow. So it's core intensive. I generally don't rely on this one too much, but 59.7. Let's look at the other putties. CXH1300, LTB. You gotta understand, this is not a huge span here between 59.7 and layered T Putty 910 on this one. Like within 1 degree, 1.5 degrees, you know, on the Kapow. All right. On this one, we're just looking at the putties alone, not the shims. The T Putty, again, 1.5 degree span. We're really like maxing out, I think, or getting close to it, what is possible to make. 48.9 to 50.3. So again, 1.4 degree span, if we're just looking at from the top to where Thermal Grizzly Putty Pro comes in. We're getting, and honestly, like from my perspective, I think they could make up that that span a little bit, right, by just increasing the viscosity. You guys are, I think you're leaving a little bit of performance on the table. I think we could lower the oil content, you know, of it. Not we, you guys, Mr. Derbauer and Thermal Grizzly. You could either lower your oil content or play with the powders a bit and just get the viscosity up a little bit, and which should boost it more than its current state. Whether that means just keeping your existing ratios and oil, and I don't know if you're using a binder at all, and just taking a little bit of the fluid out, or adding one of the powders of your choice, you know. That's what I think could be excuse me, done. But well, let's I'm just gonna I'm gonna go back to here, and let's handle the putties, and I'm gonna read some of the comments here. So we've got, yeah, 3 putties here. Maybe we'll even handle them a little bit, who knows? Because I kind of want to talk about, like, and let's even handle a couple other putties, because why not? I'll be able to figure these out because they're different colors. So, but, like, let's be honest, that's a very good result. Yeah, that's a very good result. That is layered. We got some Allen's-i HY 256, the hole punch. We got some, what is this? I think the blue lids are U6, the white lids are what, UTP8? Because I'm just gonna get some gloves on too while I'm at it. Taylor Sharp in the house. We got Bentinky. My heart be racing for the results. I missed that comment. Sorry. Welcome to the stream, guys. Sorry I wasn't reading the messages there while we were doing that. There are plugins that will leverage GPU for OBS, but the CPU-based filters work pretty well. I do use the GPU, the RTX-based ones, and it's been good. But I actually believe it's the, I don't know, my gut says it's like the Shure software that I was running that was the issue. XT90, yeah, for sure. Was Kapow running 11 volts? Are you serious? No. Okay, yeah, that's just the standard sheet. It's pulling data from second wet application. This would have been from data from, what am I talking about? The PTM 7958 SP. I did a wet application. That's what this is on the calc sheet, and then I guess I could have used a blank one, but that's when my voltage was like crazy low, and I started melting connectors, because I was silly and I was using those 90-degree adapters. Alright, I just realized I didn't have that on the screen. My bad. Anyways, basic also Calibri. Yeah. Yeah, the load in Furmark is variable, which is kind of annoying. But Parbs, and we also got Wing Commander Bob. Welcome to the stream. Parbs, welcome to the stream. Slightly disappointing results, especially for the price, and it's not easy to work with. Honestly, there's not much further that we can go currently or economically with putties. That, like, we're getting close to the wall. At least from my perspective, we are. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there's like another degree. You know, it'll be interesting to see when I manage to get my hands on Honeywell HT 11,000, because I mean 11,000 is bigger than 10. I think it's a good result. The price, I think it's too early to judge it on the price. Thermal Grizzly's got a chance to change that if they want to. Let's see what they do. You know, if they change the price, it would be awesome, and kind of bring it more in line with the market. And if not, you know, I think they'll still probably be able to sell the product. So this is the basic, right? The pink stuff. It's super soft. I think it's good to have one of the putties, and it being the basic one. You want a putty that's going to be good for shims. Out of these three, if I was doing shims, I would probably, and if I was going with a Thermal Grizzly putty, I would use the basic, because we know it can go down to 0.1 of a millimeter. Now the Putty Advance got really close to that, but it was 0.11 of a millimeter. Doesn't seem like a major thing until you realize that that's another little bit that you have to make sure your shims are below that, right? I was using 1.6 mil shims with a 0.1 millimeter layer of putty on either side, and any thicker than that, I'm losing core contact. What's 20 thousandths of an inch? Well, that's the layer size of PTM. So, wait, am I saying that right? That wasn't thousandths of an inch, but you can't play around with thicker putties with shims and expect to compete with liquidier, thinner putties and thicker shims. The thicker shims with the lower grade putty is going to beat the thinner shim with the higher grade putty. Now this stuff, the Putty Advance, you can handle it. It's quite soft still, which is it's good in some regards. You're not really going to be worried about it. You can roll it. It is pretty soft. Maybe if you roll shorter logs, I don't know. I felt like let's roll a 6 mil log. It's pretty close. It wouldn't take much. It just use like just a touch more viscosity. But it's very close to being ideal. But then the Putty Pro is the one I think where I'm kind of thinking it could use like a decent amount more, maybe. So we're gonna handle it, and then we're gonna also do some other putties, I think, here, just to see. It's not good. I don't want to get dust on these things. Spray bottle's getting low. I have to refill. I recently bought 8 liters of isopropyl, so we stocked up for Christmas. Getting ready for a slew of testing. Cleanliness is important here. Let's see. Would be interesting to retest UTP-8 too. Totally. Yeah, I could do that. I could, you know, I'd like to do the top 10 putties, let's say, or you know, something like that, and just retest again. And honestly, I'd probably try and do longer tests. We'll just let it run longer, take the average from like a number of hours, maybe. It's super soft. It does the jaws of putty. It could just add, like, I think there's room to, viscosity-wise, to boost it a little bit and make it easier to handle. Yeah, I know there's included spatulas, but honestly, I like rolling putty. I don't know what you guys like doing out there for watching this, what your preferred method is. I suppose a syringe is an option. I just, you know, rolling it allows you to achieve whatever size that you want. It's pretty quick. You don't need to buy additional things, although you should have gloves. That's what I would recommend. Okay, but why is this important? Because this is HY 256, okay? And this is on the stickier side too. This is from Hound's Eye. This compresses down to 0.1 of a millimeter. And it rolls, and it does. It drops like that. But this one's great for shims, but it's not trying to be a maxed out putty, but it's also quite soft. It's like, it's borderline rollable. But it's pretty good. This is just the putties I had next to you. You should see my desk. It's got lots of putties in the background. I can, well, actually, we got some, oh, those are layered T-Flex pads, right? Yeah, there's some mystery putty. So I recently got a bottle of silicone oil, and yeah, I was pretty excited about that. This is UTP-8, right? And this is on the what feels like the drier side, but it still leaves enough of a film to stick. But it's really easy to handle, and it still squishes. But it does, I'll agree, it does take a little bit more pressure than any of the Thermal Grizzly putties. But this is not a firm putty. It's quite soft. But I find it really easy to roll. And this one, I don't think could be pushed much further, right? It's basically maxing out, in my mind, where its viscosity and stuff. Well, or not viscosity, sorry, maxing out its performance. It's pretty close to maxed out. But this is what I normally do. I normally do this, and then I like chop it, and I pick them up, and I can hold it vertical. And I know you guys can't see this right now, but it's not stretching out, so it's really easy to pick up. I'm not worried about it like becoming thin in the middle, as it like, if it were to, you know, stretch out, it gets thinner. That's what I'm talking about, is like the ease of rolling it. And then if you want to make this one from 6 to 4, you just, you know, okay, we got about 4.5, 5 there. That's about 4 mils. Somewhere in there, you could go down to 3. And even at 3, which is about 1/8 of an inch, if you guys weren't sure, it's about right about there. You know, you chop a length, and it holds together. So it's even though there's about 3 inches here, and I've got 2 inches draping. That's my current preferred ability to handle a putty. Right, and then we've got the layered T-Putty 910. I mean, it's quite soft too. It's on the softer side of things for sure. Use one of these Thermal Grizzly ones. But it's like not dropping for me. It's the same length. It was doing it a little bit here, but like most of the log was really just holding its shape. Get up, set it down. It's pretty easy to handle. And you know, okay, it's possible like that some of these putties feel that way because they were mixed like who knows how long ago. I'm not sure, like with the absorption of the fluids, like the silicone oils and stuff that you're like the base fluids that you guys are using, does that get absorbed into the powders like after initial mixture more? Like does it seem to like tack up or like dry up a little bit as on a microscopic or smaller level the oil seeps into the little crevices within the particles? Possibly. Maybe just sitting on a shelf for a month. You know, maybe this is something that we'll take a look at, but it's possible that these are so fresh and maybe there's still something going on. I don't know, just a theory. I could be wrong, but it's possible. So this is a putty I mixed up from scratch using silicone oil and hexagonal boron nitride. And it's like, it's not good yet, you know. I got a long ways to go. It's also super light, and it's kind of, but it's interesting. It definitely lays down a layer, and it's kind of fun. This stuff was in my card for a couple weeks, crunching away. Doesn't perform very good, but I definitely figured out a couple things that I need to do differently if I want to play around with making a putty. And that's a 2-ingredient putty right there. There's not much going on at all. Just a super fine powder, which is not the ideal anyways. But I just wanted to show you guys that because, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Let's get cleaned up here, and then we're going to go over some comments and questions. And if you guys have anything you want to ask me, then or anything you want to say, that's cool too. I'm going to scroll through. Would be interesting to test. Yeah. Wing Commander Rob says EVGA didn't do much manufacturing in house. Yeah, like I mean, they didn't make their power supplies. It was either Fortin Source Power or Superflower, which I prefer the Superflower ones, the Gen 2s and 3s of the gold, platinum, and titanium. Ooh, she was thirsty. Parb, so LTP8 is still the best putty? No, Honeywell HT10000 is currently the best putty. And then a close second is literally, in my mind, I think it's a tie between UTP8 and LTP81. And, you know, maybe for the retest, if I do retest them, I'll try and dial in Firmark to see if I can get it to remain at a static wattage, which would be nice. So I would imagine they bought it from a supplier. Yeah, most like Ventinki. Surprise UTP performs the Pro. I mean, well, if you think about it this way, Upsiren came out with U6 Pro first, right? And then UX, kind of a similar time frame. And then we were using those putties for a while, like quite a few of us, the guys on the Legion Discord. And, you know, we obviously had some criticisms and stuff. And they were reading all that, and then, you know, they saw comments that I'd made. And then they were like, hey, like, we're thinking of making a better putty. As far as I know, they're still like developing putties, like that will be future generations of putty. So they've had a chance to enter the market and then make improvements in multiple ways, both in softness and in performance. So that's to be expected. These are the first guys. This is a very good entrance for 3 putties to enter the market from a brand who, like, these are their very first marketed attempts at making a putty. And so I think they perform pretty decent, to be honest. Like, that Putty Pro, it's right up there. And let's be honest, my testing is only so accurate. Like, you really need to take my charts with a grain of salt. I'm using an NVIDIA GPU. Okay, these things only show a 2-degree resolution for the memory junction temperature, and that's the temperatures we're logging. Do the averages show more decimal points when you test for a couple hours? Well, yes. So as the temperature goes up or down, it'll jump like 86, 88, 86, you know, and we never get to see 87 or any of the decimal points. So this card is not ideal, and it was pretty gut-wrenching, like, figuring that out and, like, finally waking up to that realization. So, and that's why Test Bench 3 is going to have an AMD 6000 card, which I think, well, and we're going to have more linear airflow. This is an open bench. I thought that was going to be ideal because I wouldn't have to worry about, like, case airflow dynamics and, like, not having too much or too little airflow. What if the case fans were different RPM? Well, I can control the RPM, and because we can log it, we can ensure the quality and consistency of the airflow. If it changes, that'll show up in the data, and I'll create a calculator sheet that actually, like, flags that when it occurs. So we'll keep on top of that. And we're going to have the AMD card. I think it's going to be, and I'm going to be calibrating the ambient temperature sensors using a Fluke calibration sensor, which I can then take to a local shop, which is great, and get that calibrated every 6 months, and then use it to, like, consistently spot check all of the ambient sensors, make sure they're dialed in. So I think my future testing is for sure going to be better than my current one. It's just that right now, this is the card that's done the most work. It has the biggest list of results, and unfortunately, I don't have Test Bench 3 going yet, and really the bottleneck is getting that sensor. But I'm committed to doing that. I just need to sell some video cards. It doesn't really matter if I lose a bit of money on them. I just need to make that happen because I'm obviously not happy with not having that up and running it. So, carbs, I figured it would perform near the top. It is near the top. It's near the top, guys. It's a good putty, but we will see how they react, and if they change things up a bit. You know, add a little bit of more boosters in there if they want to, or just, yeah, I think they'll find a way. I think if there's a willingness to make it better, then they will. If not, there's actually not, there's nothing wrong with Thermal Putty Pro, other than I might increase the viscosity. If they did that and just left it at the performance that it's at, it'd be fine. And if they adjusted the price to meet the market, you know, that'd be cool too. It'd be nice for the end consumer. Taylor Sharp, I like Kapow because the temp spread is larger. It's a good one. It's been well researched for decades in the same way alchemy was researched for decades. Matt C is mostly wizardry. Yeah. has been getting to this level of performance at an affordable price. Carbs, yeah, totally. Like it's amazing that we were able to access putties for you guys chatted a lot. It's crazy that we can get putties that are affordable and perform good. And the market is nuts. Like it's super competitive. All the companies try and like keep their recipes and everything secret. You know, you've got companies buying other people's stuff and testing them, which of course they're going to test the competition stuff against theirs. I'm sure they got some microscopes. They're probably like, I would not be surprised if people are reverse engineering other products and seeing like how they're pulling it off, what they're doing, what they're using. That's like, and all it takes is for them to anonymously buy it. It's not like other industries where you can actually control the flow of the products. For certain nichings, like the oil field, you sell it to the customer, then you go and you install the tools and they go down the hole, and like no one gets to take them apart and see what's inside. Well, putty is different. It's they can analyze each other's things and see who's doing what. So it's hard to hide the recipes and stuff. I would think, if you had the right equipment to figure that stuff out. Jan Makuda, good results, but the price is too high. It's better to buy other putties. For me, even with the €70 shipping for China. €70 shipping? That is nuts. And I think like, yeah, it's, I don't know. Tiananmen cubed. No UTP-8 buyer's remorse for me today. Did the aluminum nitride shims. Dude, yeah, that's cool. You got aluminum nitride shims. They're kind of neat. Now, you, what size Tiananmen cubed, what size shims did you go with? Because UTP-8, you can get it down to about 0.15 of a millimeter, and that's like maxed out. It can't get thinner than that, so just be aware of that. If you need to get a putty that's thinner, feel free to go with something like Hallen's-Eye HY236. It can go down to that 0.1 mils. That's just if you run into compression issues. The Thermal channel, I just ordered 200 grams more of UTP-8 and prepped for more old GPU action in January. No doubt. Parb says Fahonda gang here. Yeah, Fahonda, guys, like, there's a company that's been in the TIM industry for what, 15 to 17 years, something like that. So that's great stuff too. Fahonda LTP 81. I consider it paired or tied with UTP-8, to be honest. Do I like UTP-8? Yes. Do I like all these putties? Yeah, definitely. Putty all the way. Thanatos. UTP-8, my beloved, stay winning. Wing Commander Bob says, my U6 had a clear lid. UTP, yeah, clear. Sorry, that's right. It wasn't blue. UTP is definitely white, though. You're right on that. Taylor Sharp, gotcha. That's just the template. Yeah. Tiananmen, maybe for V3 testing. Okay. Have an average of all deltas. Right now, copy the results and average the putties myself. Right now, copy the results and average. Have an average of all deltas. Like, would you be able to describe that in more detail? If you'd like, you could email me at snarksdomain@gmail.com is email I use, and if you could explain that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you're talking about with the deltas. Yeah. Taylor Sharp, with the larger temp spreading kapow, I think that would show the performance better over the margin of error. Possibly, but also if we're going core intensive and we're getting the potential for inconsistent paste spread of the MX4, I don't know if that affects the results or not. And maybe I wouldn't be able to afford it, but maybe going something like cryo sheet where the thickness is always the same would be preferable. I'm not sure. Temp spread is so close on a lot of the putties that ranking. Well, and I don't actually want this to be looked at as like a ranking, like, oh, this one's above that one. I think, in a way, I think one of the best ways to look at it is the bar chart. Honestly, I don't think most people are going to care about 0.1 to 0.3 degrees Celsius. I think they're going to care more about availability, price, and which brand they trust. I think that's going to come more into play, and so it's going to be a balance. Yeah. Thermal channel, I would rank it with ease of use, ease of purchasing, obtaining, and I'm probably going to do one of the S, A, B, C, D, E, F charts with like S tier, A tier, and my like balanced thoughts on putties that way. Yeah, when all the performance metrics are the same, we're pretty close to it. Once the performance is within the margin of error, it all comes down to, yeah, like, that's why I almost hesitate to, like, but I need to follow the numbers. I'm not going to, even though my thing's not that accurate for that second decimal point, I can't bring myself to not follow the numbers. The numbers are dictating a position on the chart, and I think that's important to adhere to. The main thing I'm interested in finding out at this point is what the actual longevity for the high-end putties. I have a plan that I was thinking about doing with some 3090s. Got some access where I could buy from a friend, and I was thinking of like having the 12 VRAM chips and on the front and the back, doing like like 3 different putties on the core side, and doing those same 3 putties on the back plate side, because that should actually get to a higher temperature, and have like 2, maybe 3 of these cards with up to like 9 putties, just cranking away for like a year, and then I'd actually be able to monitor the temperatures. But also we could just crack them open at the 1 year mark, reshape what's there, put it again for another year, do like long cycle stuff, and then have them running 24/7, 365. Yeah, I've got to figure out if that's reasonable for me to be able to pull off. Good evening, Sir Apocalypse. Yeah, good to see you. All-Star player GK Snark, are you in the US? No, I'm in Canada. Probably making a killing investing in a pallet of UTP. I wish. And drop shipping once we get slapped with these tariffs. Oh, like, should I just go try and buy a pallet? I can't afford it. I can't afford a pallet of putty. Stuff's expensive. Yeah, I don't know what this tariff's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna wait to see how everything shakes out. You know, I'm in the oil industry, and that might get affected by stuff too, so I'm not really sure. Any good long-term thermal putty? Johnny Elijah Luke, yes. TGPP10 is still reigning champion. Yes, sir. Only because we've had it for the longest, and I can already say that it lasts years. At least in my 3090 it did. And it was cranking away. Even during the mining craze, it was mining 24/7. So a lot of these other putties are way too new to know. I believe Jenny KH said that some of his customers were mining on Honeywell HT10000 for 2 years, and temperatures were still great. He did say it did gradually get like firmer over time at that, like around that 2 year mark and beyond, but that the temperatures were still good, and they've got memory junction temperatures. So even if a putty does harden up, it doesn't mean it stops transmitting heat. Maybe it just turns into a pad at that point. I don't know. That's kind of a interesting to think about, whether it's just now a pad at that point. But I guess why it's really important to pair putty with another long-term product for the core, so that you can basically just leave it, monitor your temperatures, and then you're not worrying, then you're not getting like bad core temperatures and having to crack it open again and reshape the putty and stuff. Zerpocalypse, yeah, Canada. Hellraiser fleshlight. Not gonna care. I need my 0.0001 performance improvement, or I will literally die. Well, my friend, then you can go copper shims and go as thick as you possibly can for the gap, and go with the very thinnest putty, which at a reasonable performance, I would probably say, currently my gut says Hound's Eye for that good balance. Lamb Tongue, welcome to the stream again. No idea, I felt my CXH 1300, I think is what it. That's okay. Still working after a year. That's good. Yeah, it's that's good putty. I just wish they would not have messed up their batch consistency and performance and stuff. Yeah, the bar chart is good for perspective. What if I lose an argument on Reddit? Oh, yeah, you can't really worry too much about Reddit. That's just I'm gonna do it myself. All-star player geek. You're saying, oh, the palette of putty. Yeah. Granted, it's on a laptop, which doesn't stress the putty as much. Laptop could stress. Ben Tiki says laptop could stress putty just as well. It's poorly cooled. Not enough heatsink, yeah. Laptops get warm for sure. It'd be interesting to see how well putties handle higher pressure conditions long term though. I don't think they're designed for constant pressure like a paste is. But yeah, it could be worthwhile to test it out. So, laptop in general don't consume more than 300 watts. Yeah, for the most part they don't. There's very few. Wing Commander Bob says, I would expect the Honeywell, Laird, and T-Globals of the world to do proper accelerated longevity testing before selling a product. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to, and like, I'll say this, sometimes it's hard to know who a manufacturer is, who actually manufactures stuff, and who just buys and rebrands and sells stuff. That's all I could say on that. So yeah, I think Honeywell does some, like, there's some, well, Honeywell is Honeywell DuPont? No, I need to, I can't remember. I need to look into that. But who's who again? I think these are some good putties. I think the prices could change a little bit, and I think the viscosity could just increase just a touch. But you're not going to break your device by using them, so I don't know. I think they're good. I welcome Thermal Grizzly to the team putty and to the thermal putty market. I think it's great. I think it's excellent. I think we're going to have more awareness, adoption, and education around thermal putty. That's exciting for me, and it's going to spur on the next wave of thermal putties that we're testing next year and the year after that, because all of a sudden people are going to be like we're going to, right? I think we'll see stuff from G-Lid at some point. I think we'll see stuff from Cooler Master maybe. Who else? Who are like some mainstream thermal pad brands? Well, Fuji Poly, I'm pretty sure, well, they do. They have a putty. I'd really like to get my hands on that to test it. Maybe I can reach out to them again, because it's not something you can buy in a store. Actually, there's a lot of putties that you just cannot buy unless you contact the main manufacturer, and even then you might not, they're like, well, we sell it by the box full, and you're like, well, I just want one little tube, but I'll pay for it. And they're like, well, we don't really, sometimes they're interested, sometimes they're not. Like Benchum, I was able to get 3 50-gram containers, which two of the two lower end ones were free, but then I paid for the other one plus shipping, and ended up being like $200 for 150 grams. Anyways, but that was the only source at that time, and then they got listed on DigiKey, and you were actually able to access them. So maybe Upsign has Chinese spices. Who knows, man. There we go. DuPont owns Laird Performance Materials. That's what it was. But, and like Honeywell, I don't know. There's some like really big conglomerate companies that kind of like have all sorts of like businesses and stuff. But yeah. What else can I say? Yeah, we're going to see more brands and more offerings of putty, and all that's going to mean is that it's going to be more accessible, and that's a good thing. As there are more options, there's more competition. As we get more mainstream recognized brands entering the market, then that directly competes with current mainstream brands that people are currently aware of. And people aren't always going to trust these companies they've never heard before. They're going to trust the brand that they've heard before. It's the reason why you buy a Toyota and not a car that doesn't have that brand recognition of lasting forever like a Toyota. Is it actually going to last forever? No, there's recalls and things that they get wrong, but that brand recognition is significant, especially to the new user that hasn't been watching my channel for years. Like they're going to trust the brand more than what I say, and that's totally understandable. I'm just this random dude on the internet. Like, I get that. So, yeah. We got Yusuf Falali. So where does it rank among the different putty brands you tested? Well, sir, let's take a look at the... I'll be posting this chart. So we got Thermal Grizzly is right here. Don't look at this as a rank necessarily. Look at these numbers here that they got on this ETC hash. They got 50.3, and the current best putty is 48.9. So like they're only 1.5 degrees behind. And what's crazy about that? Actually, you know what? Let's just get this fixed here, because it's a putty. It's going to be pink, isn't it? Yeah, I gotta change that to green. Let's do the bar chart really fast if we can. I think that's the right color. I'll just I'll heal the chart, and we're going to look at the bar chart, because I actually think that is a better representation of position and performance than if I got to do that twice. Can't remember. No, there's nothing in there. Okay. Oh, cancel. Just bear with me 1 second here, guys. I was going to have to do this anyway, so we might as well chat while we're doing the good work. But basically, it's good putty. Yeah. So this is weird where I can't scroll over unless I do this for a bit. I don't know why I went that far anyways. Okay, so given this span, which I need to go over a bit more, there's like a massive span, right? Don't use any of this stuff, I think, because like look, the green bar is mostly what you need to look at. This is the blue one here is core, the orange ones are hotspots. You can see some of them are outliers, specifically on the very stiff pads, the Valor Odins. You can see the core and hotspot had higher delta temps over ambient. Same with Thermal Odyssey 1s. Critical 20 watts. That 8 watt stuff, just barely. What else we got? Valor. But in general, there isn't a correlation, because if you look at this line of blue and orange, even though our memory temperatures are going down, these are not getting linearly affected. We don't see this being 5 degrees hotter down here. Now, playing with shims, we see some compression stuff, but any of these putties in here, and there's some pads too, right? But I'm not a pad guy. These are so close, right? Like, it's at the top, along with these other ones, within like 1.5 degrees, and then 30 degrees down here, we got these bad ones. So it's a good putty. Colors are pretty. Yeah, man. What's a bar chart? What do we got here? Maybe Upsarn, blah, blah, blah. Zerpocalypse, I'm just glad Thermal Grizzly is entering this market. Yeah, man. I'd love to recommend a product with decent performance that doesn't require navigating 100%. It's frustrating. Ventinky, glad CSGR didn't pull a U6 yet. I don't think they can, because I think, I'm pretty sure Upsiren was pretty smart this time, and they filed trademark in a bunch of places. Pretty sure including Europe. So they got trademark rights, and that'd be pretty cheeky of CSGR. Born again, good evening, sir. Hello again as I clean shop. Nice, man. TL Spitz, how's it going, buddy? You made it here on time. What's your opinion of Thermal Grizzly putties? They're pretty good. Putty Pro, it's like right up there with the best of the best within 1.5 degrees. They could make it a little bit higher viscosity just to make it a little easier to handle, and I'm confident they could work on the price if they're wanting to compete with the other brands. Whether they feel they need to, that's up to them. All-Star Player Geek, do you have any data charts on putties for motherboard components? I don't have charts, but I have been putting thermal putty on my motherboard VRMs. I like it. I think I've got the before and after test. I just need to process the data, and then it's pretty good. Hellraiser, what's a bar chart? They don't teach us fancy book learning over here. Zerpocalypse with the answer. Nice. Ventinky, the TG Putty Pro Putty is a very good putty, 100%. It just isn't, the price isn't the best, but if you can't get UTP-8. And a lot comes down to shipping and like import charges. And if those combined are just a little bit cheaper, like if Putty Pro is only a little bit more in certain countries, I think they're going to go Putty Pro. Where did you buy TG Pro? I tried to buy it. I was buying it. I bought it. It was on its way. It had already left. And then they contacted me and they're like, hey, because they noticed some, Thermal Grizzly noticed some comments I made on Tech Power Up. And they were like, we can send you some putty. That way you don't need to buy it. And I was like, I already bought it. No big deal. But like, I guess maybe I just should have stayed anonymous at that point. Not that it would have been pretty easy to figure out. I'm probably the only guy that bought one container of each of the three. It would have been super easy to figure out anyways. So I decided to let them know what the order number was, and then they were like, oh, well, we could refund you and stuff or whatever. And I was like, yeah, like, no big deal either way. If you want to, that's fine, but don't need to have it for free. And then they did, and then like a little bit later the order got canceled, and then all of a sudden there was like a shipment that oriented from a place much closer, and And so then I got it so quickly. It was like 2 days, I want to say, and it was on my doorstep. It actually arrived at night, and it was supposed to come like the next morning, and that's why we were able to test it so quickly. So technically I didn't buy it, but initially I had. That's the whole story so far. Is it going to be on Amazon? I would assume they would probably want to have it on, Amazon is a distributor of products, and they've got a worldwide network of very affordable shipping. So it makes it more accessible and faster to, well, you can ship things fast, but Amazon can do it cheap and quickly at the same time. Hellraiser Fleshlight, as a non-silly comment, I want to emphasize for people that you may not always want the best TIM on your memory. Yeah, 100%. Like if you're going for the 39 Ti and 4090s, they like 60 degrees Celsius if they want max OC. So if you're on water and you've got memory temperatures that are like 30, 40 degrees Celsius, and you're trying to push like plus 2000 megahertz or more to your VRAM, there's lots of people that have been experiencing with that. I don't have water cooling yet, so you are correct. They did. Razor. So at that point, you're just kind of lowering your memory OC headroom for sure, and that's mostly on water. On air, we're not getting to 60 degrees because these temperatures in the charts are not actual temperatures, they're T delta. They're off the above ambient. So yeah, VRM Putty works great. Most VRMs are so ridiculously overbuilt these days that there is not much point replacing the interface on them. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they are overbuilt. Other times you've got a motherboard with like not as many phases, and I think those ones, obviously you should, if you're really trying to push a CPU, you should probably buy a motherboard that can really handle what you're going to be trying to do with it. Like an enthusiast motherboard. But what if you are going budget and you just want to squeeze out a bit more? Maybe it helps to have cooler VRMs, and putting on a good putty, a good way to go. Yeah. CTL Spitz. I recently saw some thermal paste that claims to use nano diamond material on Amazon. Do you have any experience with anything like that? Is a legit claim? Well, it's possible, right? Icy Diamond of the past, right? It had like, what is it, 95% by weight, I want to say. Diamond, I might be wrong on the percentage there, but I've even got, I've got 50 carats of diamond powder that I could play around with. But I'm quickly learning that particle size and having multiple sizes is, or I should say remembering, but that's equally important. So, yeah. I think I've also got a horizontal one. Yeah, they're all kind of in here. We are going to split this chart up at some point, probably in the next couple days, because I'll have my laptop with me, and I can do that from there, and we'll have like lead pads and shims / exotic, so make it a little bit easier than looking at this massive thing. And I'll eventually have like a top 10 putties sort of thing. I'll also do the ranked tier chart, whatever, for my balanced perspective. Well, what I think of as, well, just from my perspective. I'm not going to say it's balanced or not. It's just my perspective. You guys can make that judgment if you'd like. But my friends, wow, it has been a busy few days. We had some Christmas parties, and I tested 3 putties I wasn't expecting to receive until I came back from the mountains. So thanks for tuning in and sticking with me through this interesting testing phase. And I think the market is going to grow from here. I see it as a turning point, and yeah, I think it'll be good. Taylor Strip says, wonder if you can combine the 3 temp bars into one. You can. You could totally do that. Just make it cleaner for sure. That's a good idea. Because the core is always going to be the lowest. The hot spot's always going to be in the middle. Yeah, let's do that. That'll be easier. I still will keep the spacing about the same unless I change the angle on the charts, but that could work out really good. If you guys have suggestions for me regarding like improvements that you think I could make to testing, or if you've got questions or whatever, but if it's like a longer format, you want to like do a bunch of typing, email's great for that. Otherwise, you can find me on the Discord, and we've got lots of great discussions there, and lots of people applying thermal putties to their devices. And yeah, it's a good spot to chat. Taichi 250 has better VRMs than the Sage 12. That's crazy. That's wild. I did not know that one, Commander Bob. Aye, Commander. TL Spitz, I've been meaning to ask you now for a while. Where did Snark's domain name come from? Well, I have used the word or name in like as my gaming profile for as Snark for like 22, 24 years. It all Snark. The word Snark for me, my first connection with Snark didn't come from Half-Life 1 because you could like that little snark gun, you could shoot those little bugs out, right? Pretty cool. And it didn't come from Lewis Carroll's The Hunting of the Snark. It actually came from a book about a little boy and a sailboat, and the sailboat was named Snark. And I have a vague memory of that book. It's in the past, but I remember it, and I love sailing. I think that book made me want to try sailing, just the way it romanticized it, and sailing's great. If you ever get a chance to get on a little sailing boat like a Laser 1 or 2 or an Albacore or like anything, just small, just get out there. It's just you and the wind. You've got no motor. You're just, it's fun. You put your feet in the little seat belt. You're like, yeah, it's anyway, so I really like sailing. And the domain, I think I wanted to, I don't know, I didn't want to just say Snark. I think I just wanted to like kind of use a word that sort of, I think, supported what I was trying to go for. Just like, I don't know, this is my little corner, and I'm doing stuff here. You've entered, it does, and not from an authoritative position, but like the stuff I do is just whatever I want to do in this space, and it's like my like playground. Like I'm gonna play and do things. Like I'm buying ingredients so I can try to like experiment with making a thermal putty. Like, I'm testing this stuff. It's my little playground. It's my domain. The deep Snark lore, 100%. Let's see. Is that a Gamers Nexus blue glass? Do Gamers Nexus have blue glasses? Because it's not. It's just a set of glasses that we got. I really like it. It's got kind of like it's not perfectly smooth. It's like not textured. I don't know. It's a cool glass. Guys, I'm having a blast just chatting with you guys. This is fun. I should do like an AMA sometime, but then be doing something that's like interesting. Have a great Christmas. You too, man. You too, Teal Spitz. Ventiki, for AM5, I'd say just avoid the below 100 boards. Yeah. So that's funny because I've got what is it, those 3 Asus, 4 of them. Is it those 520 primes or something like that? and they were $25 a piece. But then with shipping, they were $50 a piece. Wing Commander Bob, yeah, if you're spending on a reasonable amount on a board relative to your CPU, it's never a problem. Yeah, for sure. Hellraiser Fleshlight, you are surprisingly polite for someone named Snark. So I'm glad that you explained that name. Yeah, because you could totally make like snarky comments and... Okay, well, I seem polite here on this channel, right? But I guarantee you'll be able to find some comments that I've written on Reddit in an argument with a certain Greek fellow, or some accounts that seem very suspect, I'll say. And sometimes I get a little, yeah, the top of the bottle comes off. The funniest part of the Tai Chi versus Sage comparison is the former's AM5 board, where nothing ever uses more than 3. That is crazy to think about. Yeah, it doesn't use more than 300 watts. And then the Sage. Wow, what were they thinking? That's nuts. Yeah, man, Taylor, I love sailing. It is the best. And like I restored a couple laser ones, and they were cracking like the 2 pieces of the hull. Well, also one had some like water. Anyways, yeah, I had a fun time doing some fiberglass work on them. They're great. I love sailing. I plan to eventually someday have a place that's hopefully next to water where I can get a sailboat. TL Spitz, are you serious? You read that book? You've read that book. That my brother has a small sailboat from... That is nuts. My brother has a small sailboat from Kwajalein Atoll. On Kwajalein Atoll. That's cool. Yeah, man. Hot tub stream. Hot putty stream. Yeah, that'd be funny. Go on Twitch, or what's that other one? I forget what it's called, but they have blue glassware. That's cool. All-Star Player GK says X670E for AMD I think is the best dollar value. No PCI Express lane splitting for USB 4. Oh, that's nice. Most of them will still give you Gen 5. You have 2 of the gamer's nicest copper mugs. Oh yeah, the ones with the thermal conductivity on the side. That's cool. Those are cool glasses. The chiller mugs, I think. Yeah, it's you put ice and like some water in there, it gets chilly fast. That's pretty nuts. Sirpocalypse, your comments on Reddit are quite restrained by comparison. Yeah, I think so too. But that's neither here nor there. My friends, I think we are actually at the end of the stream now. But I just wanted to say thanks for tuning in and being here to converse with, because this has been an interesting couple days, and I'm glad I was able to share it with you guys. This is a community. This is not just me, and I wouldn't be here without you guys. So I just want to say thanks. I hope you guys, if you're celebrating holidays, I hope you have great holidays with your family and your friends, and try and stay warm if you're living somewhere cold, and try and stay cool if you're living somewhere hot. And I'm gonna catch you guys after Christmas here, and we're gonna do some more fun stuff, and I've got a bunch of videos in the pipeline I gotta work on, so I need to, especially one I need to get done pretty quick if I can. You guys have a most excellent evening. Snark's Domain out.